Um, let's talk about how can investors use the seller finance strategy, or investors that sell with seller financing. How could they use? Is there any way to use the 1031 exchange to help them?
Actually, there's a hidden trick to that can be really powerful, particularly for people, and I'm speaking to the sweet spot right here, aren't I? People who want to move their portfolio from active landlording into passive note investing. Sounds like kind of where you live, isn't it?
That's where I live.
So let's start with the reinvestment requirements for the 1031. If you want to defer all tax, you have to purchase at least as much as you sell, and you have to use all the proceeds from the sale in the purchase. Simple enough, right? Well, but let's say you wanted to sell a property and carry back an owner carry note. So you bought a property. I'm going to throw out just a easy math scenario because I'm an accountant that's horrible at math. So forgive me. So let's say you bought a property, you put $20,000 down, bought a $100,000 property a few years ago. Now you're going to sell it. The note's down to $50,000, and you're going to sell it for $50,000 down, and you're going to carry back a note yourself for the other $50,000. So the $50,000 in cash is going to pay the mortgage off, right? What you're left with in your account is a $50,000 note, because that's a proceed. That has to be used to buy your next property worth at least $100,000. Now, how can you do that? Well, there's a bunch of different ways. Number one, you go to the open market and you sell that note. Well, you and I both know it's probably going to take a pretty severe haircut because it's a new note, it's unseasoned, it's on a property, blah, blah, blah. You could offer that note to the seller of the property you want to buy. Again, chances are they're not going to want it. Or you could find $50,000 of your own and replace the note with that. You could borrow one from your 401k, $50,000 limit right there. Borrow from your 401k, take it from a stock account, borrow from your uncle. It doesn't matter. But replace the note with $50,000 of cash in your exchange account. Now, what does your exchange account have? It's got $50,000 in cash. Can you use that to go buy a new $100,000 property? You sure can. And that completes your 1031. You deferred all tax, and you've got a new income producing property. But what's most important is that outside your exchange account, you own a note on a property that you're very familiar with that's generating income. And that note has no gain in it because you paid $50,000, you received a $50,000 note. So the only tax on that note is going to be on the interest that comes in each month. And so in one move, you did a 1031 exchange, deferred all the tax on gain, bought a new performing asset, and in your note buying life, you have a fresh note generating monthly tax-free income.
Wow. See, people ask me, if you're so successful, why do you still do these podcasts? And that's why I learn something all the time from the people I talk to. You know, I'm trying real hard to get smart people on this podcast. Okay. And
some would say you better try harder.
No, you've already proven your worth. So, you know, I just learned something. I really would have taken a property that I had a note on and kind of just disregarded it as a 1031 exchange potential. I just would have, I wouldn't have thought about that. So again, that's why I do these kind of podcasts, because it's not just for you. I get to talk to some smart guys and
I've had enough of this 9 to 5.